Peace, everybody. This is Mikey Eyes TV. I got my brother right here, Tyrone, aka No Bone Tyrone, right?
No Bone Tyrone in the house.
No Bone Tyrone's in the house.
Yeah.
Thank you for taking the time, my brother, to do this with me. It's an honor for me to be able to speak to you, because I'm a huge fan of popping. I started popping first, and then I became a b-boy. And I just wanted to highlight gentlemen like yourself because this is Black History Month, and I feel like our story is important. And I would like to start this video off with like the name No Bone Tyrone. Like, how was that created, and where did you get inspired to call yourself that?
Oh man, great question, Mikey Eyes. First of all, I just want to say Happy Black History Month, everybody. It's an honor, it's a privilege to be able to share this moment with you guys, and hopefully someone will be inspired by, this interview. But the name No Bone Tyrone first came about when I was about 16 years old, and my cousin, his name is Michael Warren. He basically, seen me pop and said, "Man, you know what, man? You look like you have no bones." And so from that day forward, people started, referring to me as No Bone Tyrone when I pop. And what's funny about that is I'm saying No Bone Tyrone when I pop because really the style of my dance that I do is popping, but it's also like different styles within the art form. And so when people see me dance, for the most part, one of the styles that I specialize in is waving. And so when I would fold and bend and contort my body in different variations and shapes and forms, that's what led people to start calling me No Bone Tyrone. So that was probably 1981, 82, Pomona High School is when they called me No Bone Tyrone. So yeah, Michael Warren. Hey, what's up, Mike? If you're watching this, man, love you, man.
That's interesting, brother.
Yeah.
Do you remember the first crew that you was a part of?
Oh yeah.
Or if you was ever in a crew?
Yes, I remember the first crew I was a part of.
Yes.
The crew that I was in, we were called the Pomona City Heartbreakers. And we had a rapper, and his name was Killer Rob. So actually it was called Killer Rob and the Pomona City Heartbreakers. And so that was about 1983, 84, Pomona High School. But yeah, that's that's the crew I remember being a part of.
How many people was in that crew?
Let's see, there was probably 8 of us, and then, we would have some members that might have, dropped out, and then, we would pick up other members to make up for them. But yeah, it was probably 4 break dancers and 4 poppers and the rapper.
Okay, I want to share something with you. In 1983, myself, I was in my first crew, and the first crew that I was a part of was called the Lockatrons.
Oh, the Lockatrons, okay.
And I was the only brother that was in the Lockatrons. It was pretty much an all Mexican crew from Madera, California.
Oh my goodness, man.
And yeah, but they liked the way that I got down. So they kind of felt like I would be a secret weapon because there was no brothers in the crew.
Wow. See, one thing that a lot of y'all don't know about Madera, man, the Madera is right there by Bakersfield. Like that's,
like in that area.
Yeah. It's like, would that be considered like the San Joaquin Valley? Or?
Central Valley.
Central Valley, okay. Yeah.
So it goes, the Central Valley starts from Bakersfield, Tulare, Fresno, Madera, Merced, Modesto, Stockton.
Oh, there you go.
And then anything from Sacramento up, like that's it's not the Central Valley. Central Valley is just what I just named those key cities right there.
So cool.
Yeah, so Bakersfield's a part of the Central Valley.
Okay, okay, yeah, right on.
So yeah, I was a part of the Lockatrons, and it was amazing though because like everybody was a popper,
Oh, right.
right?
Especially,
And I was when I first got into the dance, I started off popping too,
okay,
but I knew how to break
okay.
because I could do both,
Right, right.
you know. But my specialty, I would say it was kind of like it was both of them, but I gravitated more towards breaking because B Street came out the next year.
Oh, I remember that. I remember
B
that.
Street came out in '84.
Wow.
Breaking came out in '83.
That's right. That's
So yeah, brother. How long did that crew actually last when you guys were together?
It lasted about a year and a
Yeah.
half for me because I left the crew, you know, before they actually broke up altogether. But yeah, I was there for a little less than 2 years, you know, and just, you know, really had some amazing, you know, some amazing moments, you know, being in that crew, man. Just, you know, the different contests and the different battles, man. It was really fun, man. It's like an experience that, you know, a lot of people will never have a chance to experience. So, you know, I was just so thankful and grateful.
Right.
Yes, man.
Let me ask you another question though, because on the East Coast, flash dance was a big thing.
Correct.
And first time that that popping was on the screen though, too, a big screen was from Mr. Freeze.
Right.
From the Rock City crew. Did you see Flashdance?
Oh, definitely.
And what did you think when you saw Mr. Freeze?
Oh, to be honest with you, one thing about one popper to another popper, especially back then,
Right.
you literally seen it and you couldn't help but just love it because, especially from my standpoint, even though I'm a West Coast cat, I see somebody popping, I'm all for it because I'm imagining myself being in that spot. So when I seen someone like Mr. Freeze throw down or Mr. Waves, you know, it's like that's inspiring for me to see that kind of stuff because you can't help but root for that because you love the culture so much.
Right.
So yeah, when I seen it, I was very inspired and I loved it, man. You know, that was just you know.
Did you know the other
what was to
person
come.
that in the movie Flashdance when he was mimicking him like a puppet?
Yes.
That was another brother by the name of Normski.
Oh, okay. I remember,
Normski was
I
nice.
remember
He
him.
was
I
in
remember
Rock
that
Steady
name.
Crew though. So Mr. Freeze and Normski were the two poppers that was a
Okay.
part of Rock Steady Crew.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
And of course there was Mr. Wiggles though, but
But now, what about Mr. Waves? Now, was he
New York City Breakers.
New York City? Okay, I'm getting the two crews mixed up. Okay.
Yeah, New York City Breakers.
Props to Mr.
Right,
Waves,
right,
too.
right.
And New York City Breakers.
Yeah.
Right on.
So, do you remember like your one of your first personal battles where it was just you and somebody going one-on-one?
Oh, wow.
And if you do remember that, did you win?
Man, my first personal battle, first of all, like, my first personal battles, this is, I'm not being, you know, I'm not really like being an a-hole when I say this, but my first personal battles, literally, I would not allow myself to lose simply because I knew that the element of surprise would just win people over because I looked nothing like a popper ever back then. So just the fact that I could do what I did would just, you know, blow people away right out, you know, right off the bat. But when I first started off, I can remember kids, man, coming over to the house and wanting to try to battle me, man, and I would just, you know, look at them and just, you know, more or less laugh it off when they would like try to like hit me with one of my signature moves, and they would show me how they mastered my signature moves, and I would just play it off like, okay, well, man, you got me. But now what about this? Bam! What about that? Bam! What about this? Bam! And see, that's right there. That's you know, one of the biggest reasons why I made sure that as I went further into the art form and I got older, I said, man, I gotta make sure that when I start, creating stuff, I gotta, add more complicated movements to it, so that way it'll be harder for people to duplicate it. But yeah, my first battles.
You remember your first battle?
My first.
I remember my first battle.
My first battle actually was. I remember my first battle was on stage in a talent show actually, and it was with the crew guys, and it was actually before I got to the Heartbreakers, because I know that I mentioned the Heartbreakers being one of the first crews that I was in, but that's when I was in Pomona.
Okay.
Before I got to Pomona, I lived in LA and I lived in Compton. So when I was going to Jordan High in LA, I had a crew. It was three of us, and I cannot remember the name of that crew, but I know for sure it was Poppin' Joseph and Disco Danny and me at a talent show.
Okay.
On stage, Jordan High School, in the Jordan Downs. Y'all know what's up. Y'all know what I'm talking about. And we lost out to a group. It was like a group that was doing like a Michael Jackson, like they were doing like an impersonation, like a Jackson 5, band type of. They were doing like a Michael Jackson band type of impersonation, and so that's how they ended up winning. But I couldn't even tell you what place we came in, but I remember that being one of the first battles that I was with, non-solo. But the battles that I did prior to that, they were like mostly solo moves.
Okay.
But yeah, that was probably like 1980, 79. It was probably 79, 80, because I went to, believe it or not, I went to 3 different high schools in the same year. I went to Dominguez High School, Jordan High School, and Pomona High School, believe it or not. Because, my family was, they went, based on the family living conditions, I went from living with my mom to my grandmother, from my grandmother back to my mom's again, and then that's how everything was
right.
Out.
Back in the early days when you first started popping, what was your favorite song that you liked to pop to?
Oh my!
I have one in
so
particular.
Many.
I liked it, Midnight Star, Freakazoids.
Oh, that was a good one.
That one and the Electricity.
Oh yeah. But I would probably say for me, oh man, it's so many. But what comes to mind is just Not Just Knee Deep.
Oh, Knee Deep.
Yeah, Not Just Knee Deep. Yeah.
Oh yeah, that was
that. The Big Bang Theory. Parliament Funkadelic. Anything Roger Troutman. Parliament Funkadelic. Bootsy. The Barcades. I mean, I was just strictly like a funk baby. So
okay.
Anything with funk.
How'd you feel about the electro funk era?
Loved it because it gave us the ability to like kind of speed things up.
Right.
A lot. The music probably wasn't kind of just limited to us. It seems like the electro funk era kind of like touched other ethnicities other than just the black community. That's
what I noticed.
Isn't that a trip?
Yeah, I noticed. Like in the beginning, it was Roger, Zap, Cameo, Lakeside, Barcades. But when we start getting to like the electro funk, like on Planet Patrol, Nucleus, Bambaataa, Egyptian Lover, I noticed other races like they started showing up deep.
Yeah.
Actually, in bigger groups.
Yeah, isn't that a trip?
I noticed that.
Yeah.
So for us, I remember as being like young black kids, we wanted to. I wanted to be a part of that though too, even though I know like um, my mother was playing like Rick James, like growing up in the ghetto. You know what I'm saying? I was young and freaky in the ghetto, and I would see my uncles in the front room like this.
Have you ever seen Rick James in concert, bro?
No, I was too young to.
Dude, Rick James and Tina Marie and the Stone City Band, bro.
Oh, okay.
At the Forum, absolutely dynamite, man.
Right.
Absolutely dynamite. Like just, yeah. Oh man, just so many memories,
right.
Man.
Also, with that being said, do you remember any sisters, black girls, in your mind particularly that you can say like Tamika? Like I remember when I went to junior high school, there was a girl named Joy, and she was like big, but Joy could hit.
Man.
And Joy was the first girl I seen that was black that could do everything. She could touch and she could hit.
Wow.
Do you remember anybody?
Oh yeah, man. Yes, and triple yes.
You have any names? And were they part of any groups?
Well, I remember when I went to the workshop. Must have been like 1980.
Okay.
And you know Bop and Andre?
Yes.
The first time I seen Bop and Andre, first time, he's with the girl.
Oh.
Yeah. They're doing a routine. Just hear me out with this one. They're doing a routine. I'm looking at how vicious this girl is hitting, how precise she's hitting, and it really, really made me just think about something and made me really, for the first time in my life, I would say, I said, you know what? I think that this girl could probably battle any guy and probably win. And so when I, started asking around who this girl was, they said, oh, that's Lady Tangerine.
Oh.
And I'm telling you, man, she was probably the first girl that I saw, black girl in particular, I mean, just any girl, period, doing a dance would have impressed me. But yeah, she was, you asked, this is Black History Month and we're talking
right.
Black history, but yeah, she was the first one that I saw that really, really made an impression on me, that put me on notice, like, hey man, don't mess around. If you're gonna do this dance, do it, bro. So yeah, it was her. And then when I think about the girls after that made an impression and impact on me was another girl that was in a crew called the Prime Ministers from Pomona, and her name was Donna Charles. She was another girl that was hard, and the Prime Ministers, they were a crew that was probably from like that Modesto and like kind of like Sacramento, like they were somewhere in between like Bakersfield and Sacramento, but I can't remember exactly where.
It wasn't Fresno?
But she probably wasn't there. She was probably from, Pomona, but that's where that crew originated from. But I remember her, and then I remember Billy from the world famous Pomona City Groovatrons.
What?
Yeah, I remember Billy, and then I remember Medusa, the original Lady Tic Tac, my home girl. You know what's up.
I need to reach out to Medusa.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, man, that girl, like the impression that.
Yes, I need to speak to Medusa. I know her. I seen her on Radiotron.
Right.
And
yeah. But the impression, but this is I never had a chance to get to know Lady Tangerine like I knew Medusa. Like I'm talking about Medusa. We were like, literally, bro, like I remember practices as just me and Medusa, bro.
Really? What year was this?
Oh man, we're talking like the mid '80s.
Mid 80s?
Yeah, mid.
She from South Central?
Lady Tic Tut.
Medusa.
Lady Tic Tut is Medusa, bro.
Okay.
Lady Tic Tut is Medusa. Before she became Medusa, she was Lady Tic Tut. Of the Groovatrons, man. A lot of people don't know that. That's my homegirl, man. Charuchi straight Pomona. People don't even know it.
Okay.
She's, I know she's real famous, but she'll tell you, and she know. I know where her heart is.
Okay.
But that's the homegirl. But what I was gonna say is the impression that was left. The impression that I was left with after I seen Lady Tangerine is the same impression that I got from Medusa.
Okay.
And then on top of that, she's my homegirl, so it's like, she's our home, she's Pomona, man, Groovatron, so it was her. And then I can't forget about, my homegirl Queen Boogaloo, you know what I'm saying?
Queen Boogaloo.
Yeah, Queen Boogaloo, yeah.
Is any of these ladies Queen Boogaloo? She's still around?
Boogaloo, yeah.
You know how to reach her?
Homegirl, yeah. Queen Boogaloo, man.
Is she on?
No, I didn't get to know Queen Boogaloo.
Oh, okay.
But as much like she was more like, she was L.A., so she was more or less along the lines of, like the same. She was like, I knew her like kind of in the same regards that I knew my homegirl, who I had just mentioned before. We were just talking to. Who was it we were just talking about? You might have to edit this part out.
Okay.
But no, but no, I didn't know Queen Boogaloo as well as I knew Lady Tangerine. That's what I'm talking about. I didn't know her as good as I knew Lady Tangerine, but I kind of knew them kind of like in the same regard. Like, they were from, like, by the time I went to Pomona, that's when, they were doing their thing, like between Lady Tangerine and Queen Boogaloo. That's when they was doing their thing in LA, you know what I'm saying? Now, I don't know which one, grew up in, what part, or, whatever part of the hood that they was, doing their thing, but I definitely know more about, Billy and Medusa, which is Lady Tic Tut, and then also we can't forget about my homegirl Lady AK. Lady AK, man. Lady AK is from LA as well. You know what I'm saying?
Is she still alive?
Yeah, Lady AK. Yeah.
Can you reach her?
Yeah. I got her. I got her.
I need to.
Yeah, that's my homegirl. Yeah, so I mean, there's many more, but I mean, those women right there, what I'm saying, they probably definitely need to like be mentioned, especially saying as I'm doing this interview, and if they happen to be watching and they know I know them, I'm like, they can't help but say, what the hell is wrong with No Bone? How come you didn't mention us? I see you mad at us,
right?
But yeah, I gotta mention them. I had to mention them,
I'd like to share with you, is there anybody that you can think of when you was coming up, like this dude was this badass, like if you had to pick one dancer, we had one in our school. It was a Mexican dude and he wore lokes. He wore lokes when he got to school and he wore lokes when he got off to school. He would never take off his glasses. He used to get sent to the principal office because the teacher would say, you can't study, you can't do school. And he was too cool to take off his glasses.
What?
And his name was Isidro.
Isidro.
And he was one of the best in our junior high school and within like our town of Madera. And like he was the go-to dude. Like if I can pick anybody from that era, if I can name one person, it would be him. His name is Isidro.
Wow.
Do you know anybody like that when you was coming up?
Oh yeah, definitely.
Like it was just one dude. Like wherever he went, everybody was like, he's the best.
Yes, for sure. And that person would be Anthony A.K. King, the king of pop, from the Electronic Puppets. Let me repeat that again. Anthony A.K. King of the electronic puppets.
Electronic
from
puppet.
Compton.
Ooh.
Yeah, man. I'm gonna tell you the epitome of someone that is so renowned for being an expert in the popping art form. When I seen my very first popping contest, which is at Dominguez High School, 1979, they put out the flyers for, for poppers to sign up. And when the smoke settled and they did the final, 3 dancers, I remember the 3 contestants. It was a guy by the name of 3D Dan, another guy by the name of Master of the Boogaloo, and another guy by the name of Boogaloo Tut. But Boogaloo Tut, Gregory Haynes, not Boogaloo Tut of Long Beach, Mark Benson. So make sure you guys take note of that, because a lot of people, they get mixed up, and saying as I know both of them, it would just be so disrespectful of me not to mention that to you guys. But the reason why I brought up those 3 guys is because Anthony A.K. King, who also was eligible to be one of the contestants, was not allowed to even be in the contest because he would have automatically won. He would have automatically won on fame alone. This is why he was one of the judges. He could not be one of the contestants.
Is this brother still alive?
He's the guy I just showed you in the documentary. He's the very first dude.
Do you know how to reach him?
Yes,
Okay.
Mike, yes, I do, man. But when you mention someone that was, like, oh wow, he's the guy, you want to be like, he was that guy, and I've got so many other stories with regards to that cat. Just, just his overall positive energy, and how he helped make me know for sure that this dance, this art form that we love, is something that I did not just want to grab onto and just use as a fad or something that was just going to be like a temporary fix to me being able to give myself a shot in the arm of motivation, to become, a man. I wanted to, do it as, as something that was going to be a lifestyle, change for me. But it was AK, man. It was Anthony A.K. King who put that in my heart, because I knew he was a dancer. I knew he was a popper. I knew how famous he was. I knew what he could do. I knew what I saw. Automatically, I'm like, how can I be like that? So that's, that's my, to answer your question.
Okay.
That was my one guy that I looked at, back in the day, and I said,
And what was his
like
specialty?
His specialty was the backslide. His specialty was twisto flexes. His specialty was just hitting. His specialty was he also had tuts, but it was his twisto flexes.
Twisto flex.
It was his twisto flexes. It was his slides. It was his ability to communicate to the crowd and play with the crowd's emotions and feelings. That's what I was looking at, because sometimes you could look at someone's specialty and they could be, able to really, come with 107 tuts or thousands of tuts. But what do they do what do they do about changing your emotion? What do they do about making you feel happy, making you feel sad, making you feel pissed off, making you feel glad, making you feel like, the story that they're telling, you could just follow it, you know, when you listen to the music and you watch them dance. That's what I seen in AK. And at first I couldn't explain it. I was frustrated, man. You know, I felt like I was, you know, missing out. I literally felt like, you know, there was like a sense of entitlement, because I'm like, man, how can this guy be so good? How could all these guys be so good? I'm from the hood. I went to. I'm going to school with these guys. How come I'm not this advanced already? I had no idea how lucky I was. I didn't know. I figured that what I was watching was going on in all the different various parts of the United States, and little did I know it wasn't. It was just happening in maybe a few different parts of the United States, but it wasn't happening in every city, you know. But you couldn't tell me that at the time. I just felt like I was just so behind, and I didn't realize how far ahead I was.
Right. Doctor Who told me to give you a big shout out.
What's up, Doctor Who? What's up, man?
Yeah, I'm gonna be interviewing that brother though next. I want to ask you too. I remember being young. I remember school dances was like going to the Super Bowl, because that's where all the best dancers showed up in the town. They would go to that one. They would go to the school dance, or they would show up to the somebody would rent out a hall, which would be like a hall, like something hall, like Rover's Hall, or Griffin Hall, and them hall parties, bro.
Oh my goodness, yeah.
The dancers,
they had a place called they had it back in the day in Compton, man. They had a place called the English Square. We used to go there and had a contest there. It was just, oh my goodness, man. You know, it was absolutely crazy. We had like the fairgrounds, man. You know, because remember,
the fairground parties is crazy too. I just remember too going to those parties, and like popping was so intense that like when people would come in, everybody had the same jackets.
Oh, okay.
It was like on some happy days, like everybody. If you see one brother came and you see 8 other brothers and they all had the same jacket, and you'd be like, those are the dragons.
Oh,
that's the wizards.
Yeah, right, yeah. They
those
all
are the
have
midnight.
matching, yeah. Oh, that was a big thing.
Yes.
That was a big thing. It's like, man, if you was not like matching, like, you know, that it was part of the dress code. It's like, man, if one guy has on Insanes or Lokes, everybody has to have them on. If one guy has, you know, a brim or, you know, a golf hat on, you know, everyone else has to play that same thing, because it's all about being able to entertain the crowd and literally do it like in sequence. So if you're doing a routine and everything's in sequence together, it all has to be in phase, not just the movement, but the dress attire as well. That's why a lot of OGs are so hard on dress code.
It was everything.
So important. It was so important, man.
Especially to have your crew name on the back of your jacket,
that's
and your name.
And your city, your city had to be represented somewhere in your.
And Old English was a huge part of it.
Yeah, it was.
Because you can see Old English, and people used to get the big Old English letters, and it would say OG and then the name of the crew, or OG, like bopping whatever. I remember they always put OG, which stands for Original Gangster.
Yeah, well. That's a debate, because I mean,
I'm being honest. Like when I see it, OG stands for Original Gangsters, because growing up in South Central, everybody that was, you know, from a set, they always had OG on the back of their jacket. This is before I even seen popping, if I'm being honest with you.
I got you.
Because gangbanging started in Los Angeles probably as early as like 7'3", Tookie Williams and all that.
Right.
So that predates popping.
Yeah, it does.
Being honest.
But from just from my experience, like like take a snapshot of what you're saying, right?
Mm-hmm.
My story coincides with exactly what you're saying, right?
Mm-hmm.
But is a hell of a twist. A hell of a twist. From this, I should say, for this specific reason, where I grew up at, like you said, gang infested, drug infested, just a whole lot of crime infested activity happening all the time, right? So basically, when popping came, that's our anti-gang, that's our anti-drug, that's our anti-crime. Now, just with that being said, yeah, you still had crime going on. You still had gang banging going on. You still had, you know, some of the crime activity going on. But for us, for me, that was my way of getting around becoming a gang member. With that being said, check this out. I come home from school, me and my brothers, right? We're not allowed to wear nothing that resembled anything like being a gangster. No khakis, no leather jackets, none of that. Not from my standpoint, because they already knew about that life. So they were trying to get us out of it. It wasn't until later on when I, you know, like got to Pomona and then was able to, like, you know, buy my own clothes. But even like the era that you're talking about, you were literally limited. You were limited to perform in certain areas, because back then it was all about disco, bro. So some clubs, they wasn't letting your ass in if you had, like, you know, like a Pendleton on, or, you know, like, you know, your Batman jacket with your crew. They're like, get your, no. No. It wasn't until later on. As a matter of fact, I'm going to tell you the first crew that I ever seen come up to the workshop and enter a contest wearing a khaki suit was the Mysterious Poppers.
Ooh.
And one of the reasons why, my theory is, they said, hey, they're no threat to us, because when you looked at the Mysterious Poppers, none of the guys looked like they were someone that was going to give you any problems when it came to any type of crime, bro. You could kind of tell. They literally looked like they were more or less law-abiding, bookworm type of guys. And I could say that because nobody was a bigger nerd than me. So when I seen the Mysterious Poppers, and then I seen that they had a white guy at the time, I thought he was a white guy. But it was Bruno. Hell, I didn't know. I'm seeing these guys for the first time. They all had on khaki suits with apple hats. Mysterious Poppers on the back of the jacket. Every last one of them had a snake name. So that's my experience. But see, this is the beauty of it. We know that our